I'm Father Gray, and this is a St. Mary's Sunday. This Sunday we have, like last Sunday, a very long gospel, one that we might not hear in church. The reason why is because it's already being explained. The Lord is explaining his own words. Let's listen to it and talk about something interesting inside. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus proposed another parable to the crowds, saying, "The kingdom of heaven may be likened to a man who sowed good seed in his field. While everyone was asleep, his enemy came and sowed weeds all through the wheat, and then went off. When the crop grew and bore fruit, the weeds appeared as well. The slaves of the householder came to him and said, 'Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? Where have the weeds come from?' He answered, 'An enemy has done this.' His slave said to him, 'Do you want us to go and pull them up?' He replied, 'No. If you pull up the weeds, you might uproot the wheat along with them. Let them grow together until harvest. Then at harvest time I will say to the harvesters, first collect the weeds and tie them in bundles for burning, but gather the wheat into my barn.'" He proposed another parable to them. "The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed that a person took and sowed in a field. It is the smallest of all the seeds, yet when full grown, it is the largest of plants. It becomes a large bush, and the birds of the sky come and dwell in its branches." He spoke to them another parable. "The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed with 3 measures of wheat flour until the whole batch was leavened." All these things Jesus spoke to the crowds in parables. He spoke to them only in parables to fulfill what had been said through the prophet. "I will open my mouth in parables. I will announce what has lain hidden from the foundation of the world." Then, dismissing the crowds, he went into the house. His disciples approached him and said, "Explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field." He said in reply, "He who sows good seed is the Son of Man, and the field is the world, the good seed, the children of the kingdom. The weeds are the children of the evil one, and the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are angels. Just as weeds are collected and burned up with fire, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send his angels, and they will collect out of his kingdom all who cause others to sin and are evildoers. They will throw them into the fiery furnace, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Whoever has ears ought to hear." The Gospel of the Lord. These long strings of parables that our Lord gives us are also in the midst of his teaching of giving the parable and then the explanation of them. It offers us an opportunity to see something about the Lord and his personality. He is doing these things, as this gospel says, to fulfill prophecy, to fulfill what is written. But also the location of them matters. Outside, he gives the parables to many. Inside, he gives the explanation. When we go inside, it says, then dismissing the crowds, he went into the house. Here we are in the house of the Lord as well, in his church. The world that we live in is very much like the parables. There are many things that we see, but we don't understand all of them. But in the house where the Lord teaches, then comes the explanation. Then comes something which is useful for us to give meaning to what we see and hear, to what we experience. In a very real way, this is what church and going to church and being faithful in being a churchgoer is about. We have to go into the house with the Lord to follow him and hear the explanation. This isn't always possible, especially in days like these. Nevertheless, there is a house that we all carry within us, that house which is the temple of our bodies, of our soul, a place where the Lord dwells. We have to form that and listen to the Lord and make it proper, a proper place for the Lord to be able to teach, not filled with lots of trash or lots of things which are ugly, which would take away from the teaching of the Lord, but a place where the Lord himself can be, can abide. When we are taking part in things like this, of being able to talk, even though through the internet, at a time which is maybe a little bit removed, we're also doing this. We're doing this action of making ourselves ready to actually receive the word and the teaching that goes along with it. Because we can't always do those things in our lives that we want to do, of going into that house, literally, where the Lord is. We must prepare our hearts constantly. One of the great benefits of this time, of this very strange time in our lives, when we've been doing all of these things and the rest of the world has been doing all of those things which are part of the coronavirus response, has been that we have been forced to make our hearts worthy dwelling places of the Lord. And not just for a little time, but for all our lives, because this is what we should always be doing. Let us continue to make our hearts a right place for the Lord, a place where he will be able to teach us. This may seem a little strange, as if though we were already supposed to have that teaching memorized even, or a place where the Lord can simply produce the explanation of things. No, I mean a place where our Lord can come into us really and dwell there. The preparation for it is almost more important than the substance of what we receive, because that substance does change over time, because we change over time. The truth of it does not change, but how we receive it does. And if our way, our place, our ability to listen to the Lord does not also change in a healthy way, then we lose that ability. We must always be ready to receive the Lord in his teaching, in his word, in reality.